Hello, product people. Welcome to the Product for Product podcast, hosted by Matt Green, data advocate and product manager, and Moshe Mikanovsky, product leader and author. Our goal is to serve the product community by helping you find products that can help make your work in product management easier. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Product for Product podcast.
Welcome back. On today's episode, Moshe and I'll be speaking with Mandar Karlekar about the async video messaging tool Loom. So let's hop in. How you doing, Mandar?
Good, thanks. Thank you for having me here, Matt, Moshe.
Hey, Mandar. Hey, Matt. Thank you for coming over all the way from Australia. We're excited to having you. Yes.
Very excited to have you.
We are very big time zone difference. So it's amazing with technology these days. We can all meet, record podcast, and then be available for everyone to listen all over the world. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I always love having international guests. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Awesome. Thanks.
So tell us about yourself first. You know, who you are, where you work, and what do you do?
Yeah, thanks. Also, thanks for making this work. I know through international time zones. Really excited, equally excited to talk to you both today, and a big fan of the podcast. But a little bit about myself. I've got an engineering background. Went into every various role under the sun that led me eventually to product management, just like most paths into product are. I've been doing this for about 15 years, but 4 of those most recent years have been in consulting. So, 4 years ago, started working for clients, typically scale-ups and enterprises, helping them with their product needs for a period of time and uplifting the maturity as we go. 2 years ago, started my own business with my co-founder, Gavin Ray. So we're a product management and UX design consultancy called Product Rocket. We do exactly what I just described. We go from client to client. We help them become an extension of their product unit, their product teams. We add value, and we leave with a more mature organization.
Nice, very nice. And that's we probably have a lot to talk about, outside of the podcast, because that's where I'm right now as well. So it will be interesting to share notes, how these things happen in Australia versus Canada, etc.
Absolutely.
But let's go back to what we're here for. We are in the middle of a series about asynchronous tools, and we want to talk with you about Loom. Explain to our audience first, what is Loom for those who don't know?
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail in your intro there as well. Async video messaging platform is essentially what Loom is. It's a comms tool. Again, out of all the tools we use in product, this one's particularly important. I've been using it for years because it helps with alignment, transparency, communication. It helps with also reducing the number of meetings I have. So it's a double value add. It's essentially a tool that allows me to record my screen and talk over it with a video message. Now, that video message and screen recording can be shared as a link to anybody that I need to communicate a message to. And it's just a really, really effective way to avoid unnecessary coming together of groups of people, unnecessary meetings. And yeah, with that recording, people can consume it, people can view it at their own time. And it works as almost a conversational platform. So those that are viewing what you've recorded and your message on your screen can then react, can annotate, can add comments, and you can almost have a conversation around it. An asynchronous video messaging meeting platform, which is cool. It also works with some of the other really popular integrations that we use as well. So really handy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a great explanation of Loom, and we know that those async tools are not just for product managers, but as product managers, there is a lot of value that we can use them in. So tell us some examples of in the product management process that you run in with some of your clients, or even before that. What type of Looms are you creating? And I know they're using it as they call it I'm making a Loom, or I'm Looming, or something like that, right?
Yeah. I'll Loom it to you, maybe.
I'll Loom it to you. There you
go. Yeah.
Uh, because product is such a versatile role, you sort of involved. You've got a sort of you're involved in so many different business units. For the development of an idea to market, you essentially have to play a lot of you have to play a lot of parts in a lot of teams. That's where Loom comes in. It's a single messaging platform that anybody can use. So some of these use cases are specifically product, yeah, for sure. But I'll also maybe even just touch on how I use it or other teams use it to interact with me. From a product perspective, again, for internally our own so we're a team of 15 product consultants. We are all at client side, but when we want to talk to each other, maybe we've got an idea, a new framework, something that we've read, created, an artifact, and we want feedback on it. It's often hard because product managers are insanely busy, let alone when you're all at different clients all at different times. And so we use Slack to share knowledge, get feedback, and we'll often record our screens with a video message so that other consultants can then come in during their own availabilities and contribute on it. So internally, to get feedback from other consultants on our own thoughts, we use Loom. We've used Loom again internally in Product Rocket to launch new ideas and new features. So when we launched recently product discovery as a service, we used Loom to communicate or like almost voice over some of the exploratory discovery work that we're doing. If we've got a prototype, if we want to validate or test something to an audience, we'll actually explain it in a way, in a pre-recorded message. So that's been particularly helpful for us.
Oh, that's cool.
Again.
Yeah, I was checking it out. Does they have Loom embedded or where you can embed it? Is that how you were using it? Or
Yeah, yes. I mean, yeah. So they integrate with
okay.
some of your design tools. They integrate with Slack. You can have a plugin in your browser as well. So yeah, it's actually really versatile in how you can use it.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I mean, it does raise the question, why Loom? Because you can record videos and maybe even record Zoom. You can go to Zoom on your own and record yourself playing on your computer and with your image, your video camera on. So what's the added value of Loom? And you touched on it a bit before, but as a platform, what do you see the added values there?
Yeah, I would say the integrations with your common tools like Slack, your Google Drive, some of the like your Gmail, for example, the nifty plugin, so you can record your screens across applications, across browsers. That's cool. But the ability to collaborate is where it really extends out beyond just a video recording. People can comment based on specific timestamps. You've got some really good data and insights in terms of who's viewed your videos, what reactions they've provided, and so you go directly back to them with some of that feedback, some of those reactions, which is it almost transforms from a message to a collaboration tool.
That's a great added value that right there.
Yeah,
collaboration I think is something we also touched in some of the other episodes on this. So definitely hearing that this is available. I used Loom in the past, but I always use just the free version. And the free version has, only 5 minutes recording limitations and 25 looms limitation. And I don't know about the collaboration. I didn't even try that. Maybe because other people didn't use it. It was just one-sided. I created them and sent them out, and that was it. But collaboration sounds like really, really a great idea there.
Yep. And I would drop them in my Jira tickets, and it was really handy to know when someone viewed it. So getting that information back was really helpful. I knew when a developer saw it and they watched it. So
that's true, because it does show who it gives you notifications about who watched it, right?
Yeah. So that was like great.
That's right. It does have a nifty, like a pretty cool Jira integration now as well that they've launched recently. But yeah, like just to extend on some of those use cases, I was thinking of design when I work with my UX counterparts, my design team. Again, to really because every product manager works with their designer really closely, so you're always going back and forth on designs and iterations, and some of the best ways to actually explain that they've heard your opinions or your previous feedback, iterated and redesigned something is through a short, sharp video consumed or viewed asynchronously, because there's so many of those communications. You just don't want meetings and after meetings. And so I use it very closely with designers. Engineering is another really cool use case, because I'm sure you both agree. Like, I would say, if not all, a significant number of demos, engineering demos, will fail. It's just, you leave it up to the demo gods. And so this has been a lifesaver, a pre-recorded demo with essentially your tech lead and yourself recording an explainer on top of that, which sort of avoids the number of things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
So were you able to measure how much time you actually saved by using Loom?
Well, I mean, that would be a really cool measure, but I definitely managed to clear my calendar of unnecessary meetings. So typically, before, rolling out Loom at an enterprise level, or, driving adoption across a business, a new client that I have, you generally will be invited to a meeting to discuss something without, that could be done by an email, or really a more effective way of doing it is a video message and a screen recording. So just to see the amount of time I spend, the amount of time I don't spend in unnecessary meetings, is also a really cool reflection of how useful.
Right. Yeah, one of the things that I found useful when I did it was also when I wanted to share with different departments and stakeholders, some new functionalities. So, in the past, I would always have a meeting or go to their meeting and all of that stuff. And it saves so much time by just recording it, sending it to everyone, then see who have seen it and stuff like that. So it was very, very, very useful. And another use case was more, I asked people, as a product manager, I always like to see to do a demo of with the developer, show me a demo of what they developed. Even before it goes to the demo meeting at the end of the sprint. So I asked the developers to record it on Loom and link it to the Jira tickets. So this way, it's always there. I can view it, and other people can view it as well.
That's awesome as well. That's a really cool example of it. Again, just to extend on that, then there's so many use cases just because it's such a versatile tool. I've seen support teams use it to ask their their customers to record a video on what exactly went wrong. So sometimes you'll get chat conversations or phone calls where you don't necessarily have an ability to pinpoint exactly what's going on. For them to be able to annotate it just using their web browser, super cool. Even on the free version, of 5-minute video totally works.
Right. And that's an interesting one. Did their clients were okay, to go to Loom and start using it, or was there some convincing that has to be done?
Their customers? Yeah, look, I think there has to be, if they're completely unaware of it. Some people might not be familiar with video or screen recording, or a little bit of first to what exactly is going to be tracked. So if you can get over that initial hurdle, and maybe even mention that these videos aren't stored, there's privacy matters. But really here it's for the importance of diagnosing the problem. Look, some people, it's the shortest path to providing that value. There's also a really handy way that, again, another example, just as we were talking, Productboard is a tool that I'm a big fan of, and has a nice integration with Loom now, where you can communicate on the roadmap section of Productboard. You can create a Loom that will walk through any stakeholders on essentially what your quarterly planning or your roadmap looks like. So if they are able to attend the meeting or not, they can catch up and align themselves with your strategy and objectives asynchronously.
Oh, that's really handy as well.
Yeah, so it definitely was built as an async tool to start with, I believe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking also about MS Teams and Slack, but Slack are both sync and async, where people are working remotely. With Loom specifically, it's been in mind of an async communication. I know someone that is working 4 days a week and told me that lots of their stuff they're doing through Loom, I think it was Loom, or a similar product, and that saves them so much time on meetings and stuff like that they feel that 4 days workday is fine. So that's another kind of like supporting this type of movement in the world towards that.
That's really cool. Yeah, if you can measure the time you saved and manage to get yourself to a 4-day work week, that's brilliant.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure there is more than just using Loom for 4 days work days.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But it can definitely help. Right?
Yeah, look, you touched on sort of like, I know you just sort of touched on alternatives. You could use Zoom or like anything that records, like QuickTime or whatever it might be. It's just that the flexibility, the ease of use with Loom, and even some of the pricing, like how it prices across the organization, can just be really easy to get started with. One of the other alternatives I used is Canva, and Canva are like this sort of machine that is going from one product, one feature, and really creating this ecosystem, this platform that's ultimately useful for everything. And it's starting to play in that space where, yeah, look, you can create a presentation and record what looks exactly like a Loom over the top of it, but it falls short on the conversational piece that I described before, the collaborative nature. So yeah, I
didn't even know Canva. I'm a big fan of Canva, and I didn't even know that they have this type of a feature. But but recording is one thing, and then what you said before about collaboration is a completely different layer. It's interesting. Do they also have I never looked into that, but I know the main thing that they have is the area of the screen that is being recorded, your image, and a voice. Do they have also ways that you can edit the video more than that, like highlight areas of the screen, or put text on it, or call outs, or whatever?
That's a great point. No, they don't. Again, a shortcoming of that offering from Canva. The video editing capabilities of Loom are more advanced, as well as the ability to annotate, timestamp, react, etc.
Oh, sorry. So you were saying that Loom has this type of functionality?
Loom does. Yeah, Loom does. Again, if you compare it to a video editing tool, like anything Adobe, for example, it's limited, but Loom definitely has more capability than Canva.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Because that's feeling like I trimmed stuff before on there. I really like the UI UX of Loom. I'm someone who would record something and probably try to record it again and improve upon it, just trying to get it right, because a lot of the async I was doing was with like offshore teams, to where I had to send this off. I would go to bed, they'd work on something, and I'd come back online. So I had to make sure the recording was precise and clear, and what I was trying to communicate was solid. And I just liked the way I could edit a video or quickly record a new one. And so I think Loom had a really good experience.
Yeah, I agree with you. The trim specifically, as soon as you record that video, you can trim, you can copy, clone, and move things around, and just sort of, do enough to get your video message out. It's and the UX is great. Super simple, really lean. It knows what the job that it's there to do, and it just removes all distractions.
Yeah. So you told us about a few things that you love about it. Are there things you don't like about it? Or if the Loom team is listening to this, that you might want them to improve on?
Interesting question. I mean, look, it very quickly gets you to pay. I mean, this is not necessary. I mean, this could be bad for the customer, but it's a great move for the product team and the commercial team. You very quickly realize that the free tier isn't going to cut it. And I know they give you something like, is it like 25 videos or something? And
25. I had to clean them up so I will get more space.
Same. And so there's so many different use cases, that come to mind. You're like, oh, I can create a library of my thought leadership on specific topics, and I can store them. You really hit that 25 limit, and 5 minutes is this like golden. I'm sure they put some research into this because everything I do takes like 5 minutes and 25 seconds.
Yeah. I can tell you I recorded a pre-recorded session for an online workshop that I had to send them a pre-recorded one, and it was 20 minutes. So I recorded 4 looms and stitched them together.
You
I can tell you it wasn't a lot of fun. I would have preferred if I didn't have the limit, but I was too cheap to pay for it.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, look, I mean, again, that's strategic, right? I mean, that's called that
Right.
great product management. But look, one of the things would be we just touched on it, the ability to, again, and maybe I've missed it, but the size, the shape, right now it's like you have those 3 sizes of circles that you can record on. I wonder if there was more options to like change it from a circle to something else, maybe even position it differently. Maybe even the quality of it could be a little bit better. But I'm just being picky here. Sometimes when, it's like, be careful what you wish for. It does its job. It's simple, it's intuitive, and it gets the job done. So some of these, I don't necessarily know how much value they'll add.
I was expecting you to say maybe translation or things like that, but I don't know. Maybe they already support that. So it will auto-translate it for you, so you can send it to anywhere in the world.
Wow. Yeah. So now that's a great point. And I didn't think about it because I didn't really necessarily have the need for it, but it's just made me think about something else. Subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Subtitles.
Yep. So they don't support it today.
I could be wrong, but not that I've...
Or at least you've not seen it.
I feel like there are subtitles.
Well, if you have not seen it, well, either you didn't have to use it, so you didn't look for it, or you've not seen it, and maybe that's where they need to improve their UX so you can find it easier.
Yeah, you're right. I think they do provide like the ability to generate closed captions. I don't know if I could at least last time I checked it, whether I could edit them or correct them.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. I think I do remember them, but they were off. And so they weren't totally, depending on how well you spoke on the video.
But imagine how cool it would be to create a Loom where you have subtitles in any different language and you have a distributed team around the world and they can choose the language they want to watch it at. Right?
That would be awesome.
It could be interesting.
Very cool. Very cool.
And we were talking about AI recently a lot. We just released an AI episode. Maybe there are some well, this is all visual, and usually visual stuff is harder to, at least ChatGPT doesn't support visual stuff yet. But maybe some other type of AIs that can help here.
I was checking the plan out. The business plan is $12.50 a month. And it looks like it offers advanced recording and my favorite word, analytics. And so I know you may not be on the business plan, but it looks like that tier offers analytics. So I'm really kind of curious now what that offer is about video analytics.
Oh, I think I just briefly mentioned it before. The analytics is one of my favorite part.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like advanced, but it gets the job done. Who has viewed your video, how many views there are, the duration. There's different analytics on like your intended audience and how they interacted with what you wanted them to do, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, analytics is always that one thing that sometimes it could be really obvious what type of analytics is required, and sometimes it's more of like trial and error across some time to see what really is useful for users, because not every analytic is useful. Some of it, vanity metrics or whatever, right?
Yep.
But the stuff you mentioned, Mandar, is definitely something that seems obvious. There might be some other things, like if they can analyze, how you're doing as a presenter, how many times you're using fill-in words, how many times you have to record the same thing over and over,
exactly.
Whatever things to help you become a better presenter. For the sense of saving even more time, because if it takes you half an hour to record 5 minute Loom because you want it to be perfect, if you can become better by suggestions or by practice, it will save you more time again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So who knows? Who knows?
True. There are some good AI use cases in that sense.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and usually that I think that if we're talking about closed captions or translation, that's usually is using some type of AI, I believe. But I've tested it on different tools. I tested it on like Google Meeting, where they have both subtitles and translation, and it felt flat miserably. But it was a very specific situation here in Canada with Quebecois French, and I was using English to French, and probably it was not Quebecois, it was French. And I don't want to bash my friends in Montreal and Quebec about their French, but Google didn't really like it. Okay, cool. How about the company? Have you ever had to connect with Loom for support or questions or suggest ideas and immediately they implemented them?
I mean, look, to be honest, I haven't had too much interaction. That's probably a good thing. Again, it's a lean product that gets the job done. I've introduced it to clients, and so any conversation I've had with them have been super helpful. They've made time to talk to our clients. After we're sort of I am exploring at the moment from a Product Rocket perspective partnerships with some. I mean, we're essentially a consultancy, which means we add value to our clients through the work we do as product managers. We're not salespeople for specific tools like this, but anything that can amplify the value of what we bring, I'd love to partner with them. So we've had a few conversations, but yeah, in terms of support, they've been responsive. Their documentation, their guided onboarding, their videos, the website, it's really on point.
Mm-hmm. Cool. That's very, very cool to hear. And that's what we always love to hear about companies, that it's not just the product that is cool, but it's also the company behind the product.
The experience. Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah. So, we talked a lot about different usages of Loom and why to use it, rather than using just a regular video and all the value it can give you in saving time and all of that stuff. Some of the stuff you like, some of the stuff you would like to see in there. Where can people reach out to you?
You can reach out to me personally on my email address. It's mandar@productrocket.com, or check out our website, productrocket.com.
Perfect. And we met on LinkedIn, I believe, right?
Yeah, of course, there is LinkedIn as well. How could I forget?
Okay. Yeah, no one can forget LinkedIn.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mandar. This was really great.
Really appreciate it.
I think that I'm really happy that people are using Loom, because I think it's a great tool, and it has lots of value. So thank you for sharing with us how you use it and the value that it gives you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, Mandar, I really appreciate it. It actually inspired me to revisit it. I haven't used it in some time, and I actually went and downloaded it, and I'm going to start using it again. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
That's great. No, thank you very much for the opportunity. It was great chatting to you both.
Absolutely.
Take care and continue enjoying the summer over there while we're freezing here.
Oh yeah, it's hot. Yeah. Yeah. Enjoy.
Thank you again, and thank you to all listeners, and thank you, Moshe, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you to all the listeners. We really appreciate the feedback and support. Please leave us a review to help others find the show on Apple or Spotify or anywhere else you're listening to the show.